today we will be doing the dark side of Libra. Dark side, dark side, dark side. The dark side. Okay, these are all the negative traits of Libra. I might be missing a few. Please add those in the comments below if you can think of any. So Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus rules beauty, love, money. So naturally, Libra loves all these things too, and beauty is so important to Libra. All things beautiful. Libra sees the beauty in all things, and Libra is known for being the sign that is representative of justice, the scales, balance, right? Fairness, the justice for all. So let's talk about the dark side. Firstly, Libras are always surrounded by people. There's one other sign in the zodiac that is just as sociable, and that is Leo. Gemini is sociable too, but in a different way, okay? I'm talking about Libra is surrounded by people. They love going out. They love finding new people that they vibe with, new friends, just talking to new people. They like gaining new understanding by talking to people. And they have a hard time being alone, okay, because of this. They are codependent in relationships, so they may avoid issues, confrontations, in order to avoid breakups and things like this. Libra are the ones who are rarely single, okay? If they're single, it's not for long. And they just hate to be alone. Libra is a hopeless romantic. They look for beauty in all things. They see the beauty in all things. So they will pick out the good traits in a person or a lover, the ones that they want to stick to, you know, hone in on those good traits and maybe ignore the bad ones for a while until a new opportunity presents itself. Libra are lovers, right? This hopeless romantic type thing. But Libra is an air sign, just like Gemini and Aquarius. They're more up in the mental space. So the love really comes from beauty. It comes from the beginning stages of love. So falling in love, infatuation, the chase, the beginning, those feelings, those hormones flowing. That's what they love. It's the mental game. It's the chase. It's the stimulation of the mind that is very intriguing to Libra, as well as the beauty, obviously. Libra can be very superficial. We'll get into that. So, Libra may get bored easily because, just like Gemini, these air signs need constant mental stimulation, constant something, attention, going out, changing the scenery, changing it up in the bedroom, changing up whatever, because they have to have new, thrilling, exciting change. Okay? It's the mental stimulation, and they're up in their head so much. They overthink things, and they're indecisive because of this. And most air signs are like this. But Libra is more, dare I say, balanced than the other air signs, because they do try to see different perspectives in relationships. And so when it comes to love, to me, love and relationships is the biggest part of Libra. They really care how they look. They care about their image. They care about all superficial aspects of life. What's trending. The men are more, don't get upset, right? The men are more feminine. They're ruled by Venus. So not saying they're homosexual or anything like that, but I mean, many Libra men are. What I'm saying is they're more in tune with their looks, with the beauty aspects. These are the men who maybe get their eyebrows waxed. They always have a fresh lineup, you know, from the barber. They always have a fresh haircut. They may have hat collections, cologne collections, watches. In the same way, shoes. And in the same way, women are very flashy, Libra women, and they really care about how they look, and they always have their hair nice and their makeup perfect, and different shades of lipstick, and they just really like to play with different aspects of beauty, clothing, all kind of accessories. The way that they look is very important to them, because to them, first impressions are everything. First impressions are so important to Libra, and Libra are very polite, and they just have a lot of courtesy. So because those are positive aspects of Libra, of course, that's what they care about. So obviously their image, they care about what they portray to others. And so first impressions are very important. Libra will look at you at face value. Libra and Leo have many things in common, to where they love the social scene, they love beauty, they love the finer things in life. They like buying the more expensive quality versions of things and luxurious things. Money's important. They can be materialistic. And love is important. And for that reason, they always kind of feel like they have to have somebody there, even when it's not the best circumstances for either party. See, Libra will lie to cover their ass. Libra will tell little white lies, and they'll get to the point where they almost believe it. And this is because Libra can see from both sides, right? And this is what makes them so indecisive. They see this, why they're the scales, right? They're justice, it's fairness, it's what's fair for everybody. At least that's kind of what they try to portray. But unless you have a ton of Libra in your chart, if you're just a little bit Libra, that may not portray itself outwardly in your life as much as you think. You may think you try to be fair, but in reality, all the Libras that I know, and I can only speak from experience, okay? When I do these videos, I do more research. I talk about the most common traits, but I also talk about the things that I see in my life. And so the Libras I know in my life are super flirty, extremely flirty. And they're people pleasers. They don't say no. If they do, it's because they've reached a new level of development to where they're more focused on the self. Libra are already focused on the self. They are more self-centered. But what I'm talking about is like, they'll say yes to anything. And a lot of times it's because they're getting attention. So, for example, Libras may be in a happy relationship, or they may put on a front that they're happy. I mean, they just hate confrontation, okay? So they will avoid issues. If they're feeling a certain way, they just won't talk about it. They'll bottle it up and they'll hope that it never comes out, because they don't want to be alone. And they're the peacekeepers at heart. They're the bringers of harmony. This is the justice, the balance, the fairness. That is a part of them. However, the part that most people don't know or don't talk about is that they strive for balance. They're striving for balance. Doesn't mean they have the balance, which means in most cases, they're looking for ways to balance their life. So that means they're jumping from one extreme to the next in many cases, and in different aspects and topics in their life, love, career, etc. So Libra have a hard time saying no. This means if they're super flirty and they give someone the wrong idea, they may see how that plays out, because they don't want to say no. Also, they love attention, and like I said, they love the new mental stimulation. So if someone's giving them attention, Libras are very flirty, and they like to party. They love the social scene. They love new community groups, new social circles, and things like that. And they're just very free. They have a sense of freedom like all other air signs. They need freedom. So as much as they want to be loved and they can be codependent, they also may go off on their own and check out some other opportunities, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying they're always a cheater, but what I'm saying is they like to party, they love stimulation, they love beauty, and they love love. They love the feeling of new love, of infatuation. So if you can't keep it fresh with the Libra, they will find someone who can. Or they'll just keep jumping from relationship to relationship to keep that new feeling. So Libra has to really find a way to find that balance, to understand what it is they're really searching for and create that in one relationship so they don't end up doing that. Okay, and we all know this isn't every Libra, okay? So not only will they have a hard time saying no to others, but this means they'll have a hard time saying no to themselves. They'll give in to desires. They'll give in to temporary satisfactions. They may give in to spending money. They may give in to drug and alcohol abuse. They are escapists, just like Pisces in the zodiac. So they want peace. They want harmony always. They will avoid confrontation. They will hope you never talk about it. Like, oh, please don't bring that up. I thought this was over. Like, why are we talking about this again? And they will try to laugh it off or be like their flirty, charming selves and get out of that situation fast because they just hate feeling boxed in. They hate feeling like, well, now we have to talk out this problem and fix this. And when really, they want love, but they want freedom. Okay, and that's the hard part for Libra, is finding the balance, because they do love new attention and from new places and new mental stimulation, but they love love. And they don't mean to hurt people, but they can just be really self-centered. And in my opinion, a lot of air signs are like this, or if you have a lot of air in your chart, it's just because they're so mental. There's no emotional attachment. And so even though they see things from different perspectives, it's a mental perspective. It's not an emotional perspective. It's not like, oh, I'm hurting this person. It's like, oh, but this looks fun for me right now. Libra like to be where the fun is. They like to feel lighthearted. They like that positive light energy. So they follow the fun. Okay? Extremely flirty. They are materialistic. They like the luxurious items. They like having nice things. They like having good money, which means they are willing to work for it. But, you know, it's the superficial thing. It's the face value thing. It's the beauty. Anything that brings beauty, and almost anything can bring beauty to Libra. They just, I mean, it's really uncanny how they can look at anything and find the beauty in it. Okay, so with the little white lies, they may be big lies, but to Libra, like I said, it's like they almost kind of believe them themselves, and it's just because they can see things from different perspectives, you know. It's like, well, I could see how that could be true, so I don't feel so bad maybe telling a fib about that or hiding things. They're just really trying to avoid confrontation and being alone. Okay, also, they kind of give off this don't ask, don't tell kind of vibe. So Libra may be the ones where you have to keep continually staying on them, asking them about certain things, because if you don't ask, the chances are they're just not going to mention it to you. Okay, they are superficial. They do care about what's trending. They do. What's trendy? What's the new thing in the streets? I sound so old. And they care about how they're seen. This is really important to them. And they do care about reputation, so they're careful. And that's where the lying might come in, okay? And these are all the negative traits. And I know when we go through these videos, sometimes it seems like, well, geez, she was really harsh on Libra. Or, you know, it's like, but these are all the bad things. So yeah, this whole video is going to be harsh. This whole series has been harsh. There's good things about you. Okay, they're indecisive. And that's because they can't decide. They see both sides of things. They'll go into a situation and see both sides. And this is why Libra make incredible lawyers, really. I mean, if you're a defender, a public defender, right, you have to try to prove that the defendant is not guilty, even when they might be. If you're a prosecutor, you have to prove that the defendant is guilty, even when they might not be. You know, so it's like they have to be able to see both sides and see the truth in both sides, which is possible. And for this reason, they have a hard time making decisions because they see things both ways. They are self-serving. They are self-indulgent. I talked about this. They have a hard time saying no to themselves, and many times they will choose themselves over everyone else. They will give in to themselves, do what makes them happy, even if it's just temporary, because in that moment, that is gratifying to Libra. They are detached. They can be cold emotionally, and this is just the air sign quality. They're just not really there emotionally. I'm not saying they don't feel things. It's just a different way of feeling. It's more logical. It's more mental. Okay, and so for this reason, they may overthink things. They may go back and forth about things, and this is the balance, the strive for balance, to get out of one extreme to the next and try to find a more moderate understanding of things. Okay, they may not care at all or take other people's emotions seriously. When other people are talking, it's just like, okay. I know I sound like such a Bia, but it's really true for most air signs. It's like, if it's not about me, I don't really want to talk about it. You know, and they try to please their partner. Of course, Libra are more people-pleasing than any other air sign. But if Libra's not happy, it's like nobody's happy. If Libra's not happy, nobody is happy. And my oldest daughter is a Libra. And I just want to share this with you. This wasn't planned, but it just popped into my mind. I was having some issues with my daughter, like disciplinary issues. And so I asked my guides when I went to sleep one night, how can I help her? And they showed me Libra as saying, like, Libra's hardest aspect of them finding themselves, of them figuring out who they are and why they fight with people or why they argue, or, you know, why they have this need to try to constantly persuade people. We'll get into that. Is their relationships are dependent on them and their overthinking. So how they think, their overthinking, their overanalyzation, the constant need, or they might feel panicky at times. This like spills out over into the relationships, and sometimes they make a big mess out of nothing because they get worked up or worried about the things that they're thinking, just over analyzing, thinking, well, what about this? Well, what about this? And they try to come up with quick solutions, but that's not always the best because they may not necessarily see the bigger picture of how everything comes together. And so they may think they have a few good ideas, but it never really pans out the way they thought. They just think too much, okay? And so I wanted to share that with you because it came from my guides, and Libra have an issue with overthinking, okay? And that really is the biggest issue for Libra. And because they see things both sides, it's like, can be confusing and hard for them to find balance, really. That's the whole point of Libra, I think. So they are extremely persuasive and manipulative. And they will try to make you think that there's something in it for you. They will tell you this is what's best for everyone. But in reality, it's just what's best for Libra. Extremely manipulative. And extremely persuasive, to the point where, like, they will just bug you and nag you and nag you and nag you until you just give in. They're not going to stop. It's like, they'll just push your buttons. They'll keep bringing it up. They'll keep talking about it. If it's something they want, they will not let go. They will not let up until you give in to them. Okay? they like to talk. They talk a lot. And sometimes it's really annoying. They will just talk and talk and talk and talk. And they like to gossip. Okay? This is like the social aspect of them talking too much, clearly. So they like knowing things about people. They like knowing the little hidden secrets people keep. They like talking about people. It kind of fulfills this social mental stimulation for them. It's the mental stimulation, and it includes, you know, communication and the social aspects of getting in other people's business, and they love it. Libra are escapists. They give into the party scene. They may be open to trying different kinds of psychoactive drugs or alcohol, anything to kind of escape reality. They do love beauty, love, infatuation, flirting. They're in love with love. They're in love with the possibilities of what could be in love. Sometimes when they're starting to date or talk to someone, they get so wrapped up in their head about what could be that they kind of escape reality and what is really true of what could be. They like come up in their head like, this is going to be the greatest love of all time. It's like, I think you're leaving out some of that person's negative qualities. Okay, they are not good at taking criticism. They might even flip it around on you and try and find a way to talk about you. But you said this and you're like this. They just don't want that kind of negative attention or criticism. They don't want to say sorry, and they don't want to admit that they had any sort of part in the wrongdoing. Okay, they're demanding. They don't take no for an answer. Like I mentioned before, they will keep pushing a topic until you give in. Super demanding. They're gullible. Okay, they're open to hearing all sides, right? So they easily believe what others say. This goes into the gossip thing too. They may just take what somebody says as if it's truth and not really follow up with it and see for themselves. They can be easily fooled and easily influenced, like the whole trendy thing or how they come off or what their image is, because they're superficial and open-minded. They can be more gullible. They're disorganized. They're messy. They lose things. They misplace things all the time. Can't find their keys. And it's just not being prepared, really. I mean, they're really just not good at preparing for things like in advance. So the last minute, they're like running, they're trying to find everything, and they put things off to the last minute, and that's probably why. In the moment, they don't care enough about that thing to put it where it belongs, or I don't really know why it happens, but Libras lose things a lot. Okay, it's just super disorganized. It's probably because they're a bit lazy and they're kind of off in la-la land a lot of the time. They don't look well for things either, and this is part of being lazy. They may not do things all the way right. They may take the easy way out. You know, they may look for the path of least resistance. And for this reason, they are very lazy. They don't look well for things, meaning like, hey ma, where's the ketchup? It's right there in the fridge. I looked. You didn't look. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's right there. Not all, of course, but some. It's like, I looked. No, you didn't look. I couldn't find it. It's right there. Oh, I guess I didn't look that good. Yeah. Lazy. Okay, they're vain. Looks are important to them. It's just like Leo, okay? Looks are very important to them. What people think is important to them. The superficiality of image and reputation and trends and what other people will like is just at the root of Libra. And they care about this when choosing friends too. Like if they have an option to go out with a really good looking friend or to go somewhere with like a mediocre looking friend, they're gonna choose the good looking friend. It's like beauty just really rules Libra. That's what it is. The need for balance, right? Extreme opinions and ideals come into play here. They may bounce from one extreme to the next, and they're just searching for balance. Instead of being balanced, they may bring balance by telling the other side, oftentimes for others, but for them, it still can be hard to make decisions and come to conclusions and which side is best, because they see the best in both sides. They see the beauty in both sides, okay? So they will most likely search and strive for balance their whole lives, continually looking for things, going overboard in certain things like exercise. If they do a diet, they may do it 1,000,000,000%. It's like just going from one extreme to the next. They need fun. They need stimulating atmospheres. They're highly social, right? They need to be surrounded by people. They may constantly have people over. These are the ones, like, you know, there's homebodies, right? Like Virgo's kind of a homebody. Taurus is kind of a homebody. So Libra is like, if they're going to be home, they want people over. Like, well, can we just see if somebody wants to come over? Well, can we just like meet someone somewhere? Let's call around and see what people are doing. And of course, it's not every Libra. This is people with heavy Libra in their charts. Like they're just never alone. They're constantly surrounded by people. They will also, you know how they talk a lot. They'll keep talking about things or bring up conversation just to avoid silence. And that can be annoying. It's like you're just talking about nothing just to avoid the quiet. They may be mentally withdrawn, often la la land, like I said, and this is just part of being an air sign. Some may have like ADD or ADHD qualities where they're just restless. It's just in the mental space way too much. And that's just who they are. They don't know how to be emotional. They don't know how to be grounded. You know, they don't even really know how to be passion and action oriented like a fire sign. They're just really so stuck in the mental space. It creates this restlessness, this mental chatter, which turns into physical chatter and talking too much. And they're just kind of off somewhere else. A lot of times when you're talking to Libra, just like all other air signs that I've discussed, you have to repeat yourself more than once. Like, if they're watching TV, forget about it. They're not going to hear anything you're saying. Even if you're looking right at them and they're looking at you, chances are they're thinking about what they're going to say next. They're thinking about their point and how they're going to convince you of something. This is why Libra make incredible lawyers. Okay? They can be sulky, and this goes into the manipulation. If they're not getting their way and the pushing and the demanding and the persuasiveness hasn't worked, then they will revert to the pouty, sulky, passive, trying to get their way. Complain a lot. You know, one extreme to the next. Exactly. And that is Libra. So they'll go from that pushy, trying to convince you, push your buttons, to like, well, fine, I guess I'll just never do what I want to do and just do all the things that you want to do. Yeah, sulky, pouty, complain all the time. And this is just another way that they try to manipulate people to get what they want in the end. And they're pretty good at it. When you speak to a Libra, you may notice too, especially if you're debating a topic, they already have their minds made up. They do not care what you have to say. The whole time you're talking, they're thinking about how they're going to portray to you their next point and how they're going to convince you to believe what they believe, or to take on a new view, or to see it from a different perspective, right? Even if they're kind of like the devil's advocate in a way, because even if they don't heavily identify with a point, they may still try to get you to see it that way, just to show a different perspective. Like I said, their minds are already made up, and you see it on their face when you're talking to them about something that they don't really resonate with, or they're not willing to understand or research or go into. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. It's like they try to pretend that they're interested. They have zero cares about what you're talking about. They have their minds made up. They had their minds made up a year ago. They don't want to hear it. They want everyone to get along, right? They want the calm. They want the peace. They're the harmonizers. Okay, so they bottle things up, like I mentioned, to avoid conflict. And they will avoid having hard, serious conversations because they don't want it to lead to them being alone. They don't want anyone to leave them. They don't ever want to be the reason why. And that's why they come up with these little white lies. But Libra just loves love. Okay, and they love to be stimulated. Oh, hey, another thing about Libra, they're late a lot. And this is like kind of like an ADD mental space thing, I think. Maybe they're too positive, like optimistic about what they can actually get done within a certain time frame, because they may be really horrible with time management. They will be late a lot. And they hate to be rushed. So that's another reason. Like, don't rush me. I'm doing my makeup. Like 3 hours later, they might show up. I'm like, sorry I'm late. But they don't really mean it. They don't care that they're late. Okay, but it may be a pet peeve for others around them. All right, so that's pretty much it for Libra. I'm sure there's other things. Please write in the comments below. Libras love love, and they bring balance in some way. And I hope you enjoyed this, Libra. It's fun for me, and I have a lot of Libras in my life. And although I don't quite understand you, I kind of understand the main parts of you. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.